6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madavella and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. A meeting between the Election Commission and the representatives of the recognised political parties will be held today. The government says the fuel price will be changed according to the world market prices. 4.5-hour power cuts today. Sri Lanka identifies 1,254 new COVID-19 cases on Tuesday. The demand for paracetamol has increased by 275% during the past 3 weeks. The government requests the public to refrain from engaging in tours in Ukraine unless essential. Biden imposes new Russia sanctions, decries beginning invasion. Dusan Vlahovic scored the quickest Champions League debut goal ever. A meeting between the Election Commission and the representatives of the recognised political parties will be held at the Election Commission at Rajagiriya today. The aim of the meeting is to obtain support of the political parties for the amendments suggested by the Commission to make possible changes in the existing election laws and the election system. The chairman of the Election Commission, Attorney at Law Nimal Punchiheva, says that attention will also be focused regarding the provincial council and local government elections. The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka has approved the request made by the Ceylon Electricity Board for rotational load shedding today due to the shortage of fuel supplies. The Commission's chairman, Janaka Ratnayaka, said that power cuts of 4 hours and 40 minutes will be imposed in the areas mentioned under Groups A, B and C in the power interruption schedule. Meanwhile, power cuts of 4 hours and 30 minutes will be imposed in the other areas, he said. The Commission's chairman said that the power cuts of 4 hours and 40 minutes will be imposed between 8:30 a.m. and 10:30 p.m. in Groups A, B and C, while it will be divided as 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours and 40 minutes in the night. Meanwhile, in the other groups, the power cuts of 4 hours and 30 minutes will be imposed between 8:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m., while it will be split as 2 hours in the morning and 2.5 hours in the night. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. According to the Epidemiology Unit of the Health Ministry, 1,254 new COVID-19 infections were reported yesterday. According to the Epidemiology Unit report, at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, a total of 639,297 COVID-19 cases have been reported since the beginning of the pandemic, while 15,916 infected patients are currently under medical care at hospitals and homes. 607,326 patients have fully recovered and have been discharged from hospitals. Sri Lanka on Tuesday reported 31 deaths, raising the total to 16,055. According to the Epidemiology Unit report so far, a total of 16,855,359 people have received a first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine and 14,091,594 people have received the second dose. In addition, 6,538,759 have received the third booster dose. State Minister Professor Channa Jayasumana says that the demand for paracetamol has increased by 275% during the past 3 weeks. He said the Omicron, dengue and viral fevers have contributed to the demand. Meanwhile, the inauguration ceremony of launching the Suvasiripura Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Zone at Oyamaduwa in Anuradhapura took place last morning. 21 local investors have invested in the pharmaceutical manufacturing zone. Plans have been made to produce 50% of the medicines imported at the industrial zone by 2024 and make them available at low prices to the people. The government requests the public to refrain from engaging in tours in Ukraine unless it is essential. Many countries have informed their people to leave Ukraine as the situation is critical in the region. The government is paying special attention over the Sri Lankans living in Ukraine. The Sri Lankan embassy in Ankara has close contacts with around 40 Sri Lankans, including several students. That's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The government yesterday hinted at a possible fuel price hike to reflect the world market prices of crude oil. Responding to a query by a journalist at the weekly cabinet media briefing held yesterday, co-cabinet spokesman Plantation Minister Dr. Ramesh Patirana said that there is a possibility to increase fuel prices further owing to the rise in crude oil prices in the world market. The minister said that the prices in the world market have increased due to the crisis between Ukraine and Russia. The minister stressed that the government would not hesitate to reduce the fuel prices if the world market prices are reduced in order to give that benefit to the public. That was our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
This is Watchlight.
State Minister Professor Channa Jayasumana said guidelines on providing COVID-19 vaccines for children under 12 years will be received this week. He said comments are anticipated in this regard from the Pediatric Infectious Diseases Specialists Association.
Coming up, World News.
In world news headlines, Biden imposes new Russia sanctions, decries beginning invasion. Germany halts pipeline as nations sanction Russia over Ukraine crisis. Hong Kong orders compulsory COVID tests for all its citizens. US President Joe Biden has announced a new sanctions package against Russia, calling Moscow's recognition of two breakaway regions in eastern Ukraine as independent, the beginning of a Russian invasion of its neighbor. In a brief speech, Biden condemned his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin's decision to recognize the independence of Luhansk and Donetsk and to authorize the deployment of Russian troops to maintain peace in the regions. The sanctions target Russia's sovereign debt as well as two large Russian financial institutions, including the country's military bank, Biden said. On Monday, Putin recognized the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic and Luhansk People's Republic areas that have seen fighting between Moscow-backed separatists and the Ukrainian government since 2014. Moscow then signed agreements with the territories that would allow it to establish a military presence in eastern Ukraine. Germany has put a stop to a key Russian gas pipeline following Vladimir Putin's orders to send troops into Ukraine. Western nations largely see the action as a pretext for a wider invasion. In response, Germany halted approval of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline and other Western nations issued sanctions. Sanctions can take various forms. The term can refer to many actions used by one country to harm another, usually to deter aggressive actions or breaches of international law. The Nord Stream 2 pipeline has been supported by Germany despite opposition from countries such as the US, UK, Poland and Ukraine. It cost 10 billion euros with the funding split between Russian and Western energy companies. Hong Kong's government has ordered the compulsory testing of all its 7.5 million citizens as the city battles surging coronavirus infections. Chief Executive Carrie Lam said residents would have to undergo 3 rounds of tests starting in mid-March. Schools will break early for summer. The territory is trying to adhere to China's zero-COVID policy, but the highly contagious Omicron variant has overwhelmed its hospitals and testing and quarantine facilities. While other parts of the world are learning to live with the disease, China's policy is to try to eradicate infection through early testing, detailed contact tracing, and strict quarantine and travel restrictions. And now the main points of the World News segment once again. Biden imposes new Russia sanctions, decries beginning invasion. Germany halts pipeline as nation sanction Russia over Ukraine crisis. Hong Kong orders compulsory COVID tests for all its citizens. That was World News.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
The United States Agriculture Department has expressed willingness to extend financial assistance to implement a market-oriented milk production project in Sri Lanka. Government Information Department sources said it is expected to utilize the esteemed standard for enhancing the productivity of milk producers and the quality of their production through this project. The United States Department of Agriculture has also agreed to provide funds till September 2024 for this project, a continuous capacity building program for 38 government and private sector milk producers to enhance their capacities envisaged under this project.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928. Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Dusan Vlahovic scored the quickest Champions League debut goal ever, but Juventus were pegged back to draw at Villarreal in the last 16 first leg. The 22-year-old Serb, a £58 million signing from Fiorentina last month, ran on to Danilo's long ball before a swivel and clever finish after 32 seconds. Villarreal's Giovanni Lecolo sliced a shot off the outside of the post. The leveller came when Dani Parejo ghosted in to finish from Etienne Capu's aerial ball into the box. Juve were fortunate to end with 11 men as Adrien Rabiot was only booked for a dangerous foul on Samuel Chukwueze.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Donald Trump's social media platform Truth Social has been launched in a limited form on the US Apple App Store. The app had similarities to Twitter, commentators noted. Mr. Trump was banned from Twitter, Facebook and YouTube last year, and some early users had difficulties registering accounts. Project lead and former Congressman Devin Nunes said it was expected to be fully operational by the end of March. Some of those trying to register had been told due to massive demands, "We have placed you on our waitlist," the Reuters news agency reports. Created by the year-old Trump Media and Technology Group, Truth Social had previously been made available to about 500 beta testers.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
And now in economic news, angry Kenyans have been taken to social media to protest about the high cost of living in the country, driven by a spike in the cost of basic commodities including food, electricity and fuel. Using the hashtag lower food prices, Kenyans have criticized the government for failing to stem the rise in the prices of everyday items, which they say has made life unbearable. In January, the overall inflation rate in the country fell slightly for the second straight month to 5%, but the prices of basic food commodities like maize, flour and wheat flour, potatoes, vegetables and fruits continued rising, which may disproportionately impact low and middle income households.
The weather report.
Showers will occur at times in the northern, north, central, eastern and Nuva provinces and in the Matale and Hambantota district. Showers or thundershowers will occur at a few places in the western and Sabargama provinces and in the Kandy and Nuwara districts during the evening or night. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize the damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during the thunder showers. That was the weather report. And now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. A meeting between the Election Commission and the representatives of the recognized political parties will be held today. The government says the fuel price will be changed according to the world market prices. 4.5-hour power cuts today. Sri Lanka identifies 1,254 new COVID-19 cases on Tuesday. The demand for paracetamol has increased by 275% during the past 3 weeks. The government requests the public to refrain from engaging in tours in Ukraine unless essential. Biden imposes new Russia sanctions, decries beginning invasion. Dusan Vlahovic scored the quickest Champions League debut goal ever. That concludes this news broadcast, and now it's back to your host as always on a Wednesday morning, Viana Kure on the other side to keep you in great company. Over to you, Viana.